Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Simpson with Fifth Dimension Therapy. Yay! And I have a beautiful woman here with me that has worked with me for the past 3 months, and she has been such a gift and such a beauty to work with when we first got connected, and just where she's at now in a result of us working together and all the other things that have came into her life and people that have came into her life to really help her evolve. So Cheryl, thank you so much for doing this for me and for humanity, really. And my question that I have for you is what drew you to me? How did this even get started?
Well, ugh, I was basically totally drawn to you because I was in a panic, just constant anxiety, and when this COVID and the pandemic hit, um, I was, home in my house. My boyfriend wasn't able to work. My tenant wasn't able to work, and we were all, thrust together, and suddenly you just suddenly start to see what's not right in your life and what doesn't feel right. And I mean, obviously, I thought that the anxiety and fear was just about the COVID and the shutdown of everything. And my daughter was in California on a vacation from work, and I didn't know, when I was going to see my kids again. Um, it was just a little crazy. And I couldn't stop the anxiety for like 2, 3 weeks constant. And it was driving me insane. I just dropped to my knees one day and um, was trying to pray and pray and pray, and I couldn't. I contacted a medium. The medium I sent, the second I sent a text message, the anxiety went away. And it, so I just sat down and started meditating again, and it was like a spiritual connection immediately. Like my third eye popped open, and I was on a journey, and suddenly nothing made sense, and I wanted to escape where I was. So I turned on the internet to find out where to go from there, and you popped on, and I sent you a message, and I just immediately felt like I just needed to change some things.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it is really intense when the third eye just pops open and there's so many people that like it's just like, oh my gosh, okay, now like where do I go? What do I do? I see all these things now and I don't really know what to go from here. So it's really beautiful that you knew intuitively that, seeking guidance, seeking someone that could assist you and knowing that you're not alone.
I mean, I didn't really know why, but I knew that, because anytime that I was in a really desperate spot, I would ask my dad, who had passed away in 2016, um, you know, what do I do? I need some guidance. Like he was the only angel that like I accepted would come to me. Like I did not feel worthy of God. I did not feel worthy of angels or spirit guides. But when my dad passed away, I felt like that because we had patched up some of our relationship, and a lot of it towards the end, we were very connected. And there were, when he first passed away, there were miracles that happened where it proved to me that he was literally talking to me. But for some reason, I kind of closed back down, went back to sleep, and wasn't following the actual guidance that I was being given. I was some of it, but my free will took over, and I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't being present, so I can really see the signs. They were there, but I wasn't seeing them. I wasn't connected. I
Right.
wasn't aligned at all. A lot of the
Right.
things I was doing and hanging around with, and like, all that stuff, I was completely out of alignment, so I was missing it. Missing it.
Right. Right. Yeah, and that goes right into my next question. That what were you, well, you kind of already talked about it. What you were kind of struggling with was that alignment, and what else were you struggling with in that
Okay.
moment? The
Right.
anxiety.
Well, I have been diagnosed with Lyme disease since like 2001, 2002, and I was diagnosed late stage. There was neurological symptoms. I had um, Bell's palsy. I had a dropped foot. I had neuropathy, like I could barely walk. There was a time where I was like bedridden and on IV antibiotics for a year and a half. I was on toolbox full of medication for years. Lots of painkillers, fentanyl, Percocet, early on. So for all that time, I was just programmed. I'm sick, unable to work. I was, you know, getting disability, permanently and totally disabled. I was literally, said I was unemployable. But back in maybe 2012, I had been really, really addicted to the painkillers and all the other psych drugs that they had me on, and all the, I was on medications that family court had told me that I must take in order to see my children, because my Lyme disease also caused me to lose custody of my kids to my ex-husband. And it's a long story. You know some of it, but there was, I was aligned with some people that used that against me for whatever. There's a lot. It's come full circle. That part of the story is really irrelevant when it comes to this. But all of that pain, all of that forgiveness, all of that stuff that I've learned, where you just apply it now. It doesn't matter the crap that happened. How horrible you were treated, and how unfair it was, and how unjust it was. You can have huge blessings by forgiving that, loving that, and the people that did that to you. My ex-husband and his wife, who is now passed, she passed away when I was under surgery for, when I was in I tried to play roller derby when I was in a remission for Lyme disease, because when I start to feel better, I do get there's no holding me back. But I broke my leg, and I think she passed away when I was under anesthesia, and I kind of think that we made peace in another realm. Yeah. Because I forgave my ex-husband. My kids have since, recovered from all the trauma that they went through by dealing with just having their mom ripped apart and their parents fighting, and this real ugliness that never had to be. And now I'm friends with my ex-husband, and we might even partner someday for the better good. And both of our kids are amazing because they've learned from our mistakes. And when I tell them, hey, I took the hit so you don't have to, they really listen. And my son and daughter, who I always thought I was a huge burden to, and they would be better off without me, their words to me today are, Mom, we're so glad that you see you how we see you. And there was a court that said that I was a horrible mother, or that I wasn't suitable to care for them because of a perception that was put out there, because of the medicines I was on, or because of the label that was put on me. But in reality, you had 5 seconds with me, I couldn't talk because of a thing, and you just judged me. So this is what judgment does to people's lives. Wow. And that judgment has to end in order for people to thrive. It's because so true. It's so easy for us to judge ourselves, especially when other people are so much. And it's like that, I feel it's like the biggest thing that holds back, and is why I'm doing this, because it's scary. And you want to hear something funny? When my ex-husband and I and the kids were going through all this stuff, I had reached out to Dr. Phil once. I sent an email, and they wrote back to me, producers, a couple of times. That's how crazy my story was. But I was like, I'm not ready. I don't want to embarrass my children. I'm going to try to do this on my own, and not, I wasn't ready to be in the spotlight. I thought it was too much, and it really wouldn't have been fair on the other people involved. So I did it. But I did that kind of work anyway. I knew the cognitive behavioral therapy stuff, and the underlying, the change your thinking stuff, and the change your reaction stuff, change your perception, look at things a different way. It's not always right. You have to kind of step away and be the observer, right. And And the more present you get and the more connected you get, you can really just suddenly get out of your own way and just let things happen the way your higher self wants them. In the world,
Right.
how we all want each other to connect and love each other and forgive each other. Like it's too much. We've all been through too much. We don't need to hurt ourselves anymore.
Right. Oh, such a beautiful message, Cheryl. Thank you so much for sharing. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, your story has just been incredible, and I really appreciate you sharing bits and pieces of it. So, then, we got started working together. So what was it like working with me, through our sessions, and how did it affect your life?
Well, the good thing is because I'm in the beginning, especially very in my head, there was no grounding, the Lyme disease, I didn't walk in grass for 15 years. I had a resentment against nature, it was like a mind mess up, whatever. But you were very patient with me and like with what I thought was limitations, either financially or in my own head, like that, the patience that you had and just your acceptance and just how easy you are to work with. Like I just knew intuitively too that I know what feels right and what doesn't. And you gave me like one of the first people that really made me want to just trust myself, because I saw your youth and I saw like, I'm like, hey, look at that, like I saw a fire in you and I loved it. And I was like, you know what? If anything happens from this, like I see her drive and it makes me want to put that kind of investment in myself.
Oh, I love that. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And so now, compared to, I know you've done other therapies, and this is essentially healing. Not that I'm not a mental health therapist by any means. I am definitely a spiritual healer and an integrated bodywork therapist. But compared to what you've done in the past, and then doing more of this like energetic spiritual work, what do you feel like was deeper for you?
Well, because the belief is so strong, because I've felt the crushingness of what I perceived the physical illness. And then when I'm standing in grass in my bare feet and I'm looking up to God, Goddess, Source, whatever, and I'm saying thank you. And I feel that crystal and that light, and I feel that healing, and I feel the tingling, and I feel the angels, and I feel the archangels, and they're healing me, and they're saying, your body isn't that. And I was guided to, change my whole identity as a sick person. I had an email that I called 2Limey2, like it was in my email address. And my inner self was saying, why are you identifying as that? Stop identifying as that. And it was, I had 55,000 emails in that. And then I said the angels, I said, angels, how am I going to possibly do this? Like, there's no way I can do that. I looked down, remember I told you this? And the email just started going. It deleted 10,000 emails in like less than 5 minutes. And then in 3 days, all of those emails were gone. So there was, and there was nothing in there that I lost or I needed, but I asked for help from the angels and I got a miracle. That email, I don't use that email. I'm now a VLP, like a very lucky person. And there's fours in there, like a new foundation. Like I changed my identity, I changed my perception, and I'm changing my life little by little. Like the boyfriend's gone. I'm 14 years and I tried to dump him twice. And I feel bad if he ever watches this because I've told him, I love the lessons, but it was toxic. It was bad. It was scary. The last time we broke up, it was a nightmare. It was narcissistic. But this time I put it in the hands of God. I said, I turned it over to the angels and I wrote full moon like intentions that I had never done before. I'm not a ritual person. I didn't even brush my teeth most of my childhood. That's the part that's missing. Spiritual, spirit, ritual. Like I get it now. It's all clicking. So now's the time for me to sit back and learn how to live life from this higher perspective so I can just flow into all of that. Did I lose myself there?
No worries, but no, it sounded beautiful. It sounded beautiful. Yes, no, I love that so much. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so then, and you've already kind of touched on this some too, but now, like, as a result, from this journey, it's been over 3 months now of us working together, and just, all the newness that has been coming into your life and the doors opening.
The
What's,
most part is the self-worth part. Like
mhm,
in the not accepting behavior, like treatment that I used to tolerate before. That
right,
I think the big reason why the ex-boyfriend is moving out of the home that we own together without harassing me. I mean, he's saying, I love you, I'm sorry, I miss you, whatever. But it's not dangerous and it's not hostile anymore.
right,
Um, the For some reason I healed and blessed that situation. So um, it's still not done because we have to, we own a house together. That is still playing out,
right,
but I already know that the that the outcome of it is just going to be beyond what I could have expected it to be.
right.
And when I first said, hey, we can't be in this relationship anymore, everybody around us was afraid that he was going to be a certain way or whatever. And I think because of being just, having a spiritual teacher and
Mm,
doing the meditations and getting involved in like some things online that I've seen that pulled me into like energy healings and yoga or whatever, it made me look at it different and say, hey, wait, don't say that. Don't put that out there. And now, because I'm more connected, I'm getting so much of my own inner wisdom. Like, people will tell me, you need to research this, you need to research that. Not necessarily. Because if you're sitting suddenly with yourself, things are expanding so much and changing so much. This law of attraction stuff, and this came to me yesterday. Like, I was meditating and like, law of attraction ain't nothing right now. It's law of resonance. We have bypassed the law of attraction. I mean, some people still need the law of attraction, but there are some people that are just going to jump so quickly. It goes from being in the shit to resonating with so much higher. It's going to come in real fast.
mm, I love that. And it's true because the biggest part of law of attraction is who are you embodying? Are
And I
you
didn't
in,
even know what that was 3 months ago. Law of attraction. I mean, I know what it was, but not really. And like that's one of the things of following what you're guided to, because
Mhm.
I've been guided to like another program which is like just following, like it was a 21-day like empath detox and then a bunch of angel rituals. And then I got matched up with another woman that had healed herself from Lyme disease, and she channels angels. So followed her podcast, and now I'm doing one of her like programs. And there was the laws of the universe and some feng shui and things, and that's the stuff that's really helping my energy flow now. So I have I have Corinne Grillo, I have Julia Treat, I have some other, and I just see all those things. I see me as a weaver because through my life, I've always weaved really good bits and pieces to keep myself alive through, you know, um, being obese and then having a gastric bypass and having Lyme disease and having stomach surgeries and, like being suicidal at times. And I mean, I was, real bad, so I mean, I managed to survive all of that and pick out all the good, kind of retain that. And now, if I can help anybody else use any of that wisdom to, pick themselves out of the crap and just say, hey, she died 3 times and she's still here. And look, her life was shit 3 months ago. And look how fast it is if you just change your attitude and you don't let the people that are telling you can't get to you. And you stop telling yourself you can't. And you
Right.
stop accepting your disease as who you are. And you stop accepting that label as who you are. Like, I'm done with that. I hope
Uh,
everyone else is too.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, Cheryl. And the last question that I have for you is anyone that's kind of on the sideline, they're thinking about working with me, they're thinking about taking that action, what would you have to say to them?
I would say, I mean, number one, there's no commitment, it's taking a risk on yourself. And I mean, knowing Vanessa is all blessings in my book. Can't really go wrong. And if you feel called to it, you're called to it. If you're doubting yourself, it's your own insecure usually. I find that, if I keep wanting to do something and I'm not doing it, maybe that's why I feel crappy.
Yeah, that step right before actually taking action and committing to yourself, and that you're gonna find what works for you. So whether that is, working with me in fifth dimension therapy, or that's finding someone else or something else that can help you move forward. But all in all, that's the most important thing to do, is really feel what resonates deeply with you, just like you did. You jumped right in. We had that conversation, we had the call, and we just jumped in together. And 3 months later, and still continuing. I mean, on Patreon and stuff, we get to see each other every week and everything, and it's just super beautiful to just continue watching you grow and expand. And it is about gathering those tools that really work for you. And when you ask the right questions, what does alignment feel like? What will help me with my realign my identity, and totally extract all that isn't serving my highest good, and it's not serving the world's highest good either. So
And I think one of the things that really was a huge gift to me this year is that I felt like I missed out on a lot in my life. And this year I turned 50, and I was like, okay, this year, like my 50th birthday, everyone, my boyfriend's going to throw me a party. Like everyone can show me how much they love me, because the last party I had was like my 30th birthday party. That kind of got ruined. The party I had before that was my 16th birthday party. That kind of got ruined. And most of my childhood, I was either grounded or punished or in a group home or something. I don't know. But I just felt like I missed out on a lot. So coming into this year, I was pretty much setting myself up for big disappointment, which was most of my life, disappointment in my mind. All right. Doing all of this work changed everything so much that by the time June 11th rolled around, I loved myself so much, it didn't matter about a party. I didn't care about a party. I didn't even want to celebrate my past 50 years. I was just looking forward to the next 50 years. I felt like my whole childhood, like I couldn't be me. Now I feel like a child and I'm brand new. So thank you for being a part of that.
oh my goodness, of course, absolutely. I know, like, one of my biggest techniques that I use from the quantum field is that inner child work, and connecting with her and loving her, or loving him. It's real, it's in psychology, it's in the spiritual realm, and doing the soul retrieval, and knowing, like, man, you are a whole person. And I just want to thank
And
you.
all that stuff that you didn't want to look at before, when you reach a certain place, you can go look at it, forgive it, love it, and just let it and just be done. Finally
Mhm.
done.
Exactly. Oh, Cheryl, thank you so much. Is there any, last message, intuitive message you have that you would like to share to any of the viewers watching?
One of the biggest things that just has ever got me through life is that if you're breathing right now, that's all that matters. And the only choice that matters is the one that you make right this minute. Like yesterday means nothing, tomorrow means nothing. If you're breathing right now, that is such a gift. Like I couldn't breathe most of my life. I didn't know how to breathe most of my life. During this, one of the first things that came to me was breathe. So that's all I've been working on, and it's the miracle right there is the breath. It's what connects you to the divine. It's what connects you to the angels. So trust in your breath and trust in yourself. That's it.
Oh, beautiful message. Thank you, Cheryl. And for those of you watching, Vanessa, offer a free breakthrough call that you can schedule if you're feeling inspired by this video and you really want to dive in and see, follow your intuitive hits. Always follow your heart. And then, if anything, whether it's me or this ignites you to take some type of action, take that action and take it from that inspired place with an open heart, and your life can drastically heal, align, and transform very, very quickly. So thank you, everyone, and namaste.